15 money habits that are keeping you poor. Each of these can make a massive difference in your life, so stick with me to the end. Let's start with number 1, not having an emergency fund. Unexpected expenses always happen, like the TV stops working, or your car breaks down, or the roof starts leaking. What do you do at that point? You literally tap into a credit card or get a finance loan from the bank. If you do that, you are just compiling debt which comes with interest. So next few years you'll be too busy paying that off. And by the time you actually pay that off, you will pay almost double. It's good for the finance company or the bank, but it actually stops you from building your own wealth. Now you're thinking, how would you create a backup fund? One good way of doing it is take out 10% of your salary, the salary you get weekly or monthly. Just deposit that on a separate savings or transaction account. Go to internet banking, make a scheduled transfer, which is going to go out automatically based on your pay cycle. And in no time, you will have enough money saved up, which you can use as a backup. One thing to consider, some banks actually have account keeping fees. So if you open a separate account, if you don't have one, you might pay a monthly fee just to keep that account open. Just make sure that your bank does not have that monthly keeping fee for the account that you are going to use it for this saving. In Australia, most of the bank charges $5 a month. If you don't deposit $2,000 a month in that account, they'll charge you that. So some banks don't have that, like NAB Australia or St. George Bank Australia don't have that if you open a transaction account with them. Number 2, getting comfortable with bad debt. You might be thinking that you'll put everything on the credit card, and as soon as the balance due, you'll only be paying the minimum amount that you need to pay based on the statement. You only be paying 2.5% of the balance that you have on the credit card. So by the time you pay it, it's going to take long time, years to pay, and you carry that debt along with you, and you end up paying so much more. Let me give you an example. Let's say your balance on the credit card is $10,000, your interest rate on the card is 18% per annum, and your credit card fee per annum is $60. Based on the minimum amount of 2.5% due, it's about $250 per month that you have to pay. Now, if you keep on paying $250 a month, it'll take you 5 years and 5 months to pay it off. You actually would be paying an extra $5,572 on interest. So basically, on a balance of $10,000, you end up paying $15,572 by the time that particular balance is paid off. If you have a credit card debt, make sure you pay that off as soon as you possibly can so that you pay minimum interest. At the same time, if you're buying something, make sure you have enough money saved up so you can use that money to make that purchase, not credit card. Number 3, impulse purchases or use buy now, pay later option. Now, sometimes you're walking on the road and suddenly you saw something through the window and you just loved it. You go inside and literally buy it, though you know for a fact you can't afford it at that point in time. Also, sometimes you go to a shop to buy something and you end up buying 10 other things that you literally don't need. It's really important that you control yourself from doing it. And obviously, there's an option now available almost everywhere, the buy now, pay later option, which is also fueling this impulse purchasing habits in people, right? What is this buy now, pay later option? It's actually companies like PayPal, or you can get that from Afterpay, or a lot of bank credit cards offering this option as a part of the credit card. You would make a purchase, you don't pay anything at the point, you would pay that off in 4 interest-free payment installments. The companies who's offering, they know that most people are very bad in managing money. About 25% of your entire purchase price is penalty fee or late fee for missing one of the installments. When you go to a shop to buy one thing, just buy that one. A shop with a list. Stop buying the things you literally don't need, and I would suggest strongly not to use buy now, pay later option. Number 4, not tracking your expenses. When you don't track your expenses, suddenly you spend more and you realize you don't have enough money, so you have to think about you need to make more money. So you do make more money, suddenly you spend more money, and it's not getting you anywhere. Though you're making more money, still you are not achieving that financial success. The reason is you are not tracking your expenses. The best way to do that is go through your bank statements that you receive, the credit card statements periodically. So what would happen is you'll discover so many little things and you point out that, oh my God, I didn't need that. Why did I actually spend that money on? So that way you can help yourself not making the same purchase again, because you realize those things that you spend money on, which you were literally seeing that from the statement, you didn't have to. Number 5, not having a clear financial plan. One of the really important reasons that people don't achieve financial success because they don't have a goal to look forward to. it's really important that you make a financial goal that you want to work towards. Now, that could be next house they want to buy, or next investment property you want to invest in, next business that you want to open, let's say a year from now, 2 years from now. Identify how much money you actually need to save up for that down payment for that house or investment property. And from that point forward, you actually work backwards. If you need $50,000 saved up in 2 years' time, just think about, okay, how much money I have to save weekly that will collectively become $50,000 after 12 months. So obviously, this way you can develop a budget. You can create a budget in a way that how much money you're going to spend per week on coffee, groceries, on entertainment for yourself, or the things that you actually require. Suddenly you realize that saving the money that you need to save weekly makes it really easy to do. And when you save it a week and then 2 and 3, you will see after 12 months, you end up saving the money you need for the next down payment for the next house. Number 6, focusing purely on savings. Now, I know that we talked about number 1 reason is you need to have an emergency fund. But now we're talking about that identify how much money you actually require to have the emergency fund. Saving more than that is actually counterproductive. Inflation is roughly about 3% depending on the country you're in. In Australia, it's roughly about 3% a year. So that means every single year you saved up money actually losing 3% value. So if you save $100,000 in your bank account, so what would happen is next year that $100,000 will value $97,000, and year after it will lose 3% value again. So it's really important that as soon as you know how much money you need to save for that emergency fund, the backup fund, more than that you have to think about investing it, because you need to get your money, make money, which is going to help you grow wealth. Number 7, starting late in creating passive incomes. Using your money to make money is extremely crucial for your long-term financial success. I myself created multiple passive incomes that are generating $16,000 a month for me today. There are many ways that you can invest money in that is going to create effective passive income for you. I'll give you a couple of examples of the ones that are very popular. Number 1 is obviously real estate. As long as there's population growth, if you invest money in the right real estate, not only you're going to have a massive capital gain after a period of time, also you're going to have a consistent rental income coming towards you, which is going to give you a large amount rental income for long term. Another option is a very popular one as well, is index funds or ETF. Warren Buffett actually built his entire wealth investing in ETF. ETF is actually using the benefit of compounding interest. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are starting an index fund with the initial deposit of $1,000. So you're depositing $1,000 every single month for the next 30 years. If you start from the age of 30, when you turn to 60, you will have $1.5 million plus some change sitting in your account. If you start, let's say 10 years later, let's say if you start at the age of 40, if you do the same thing, like $1,000 initial deposit, and then $1,000 every single month for the next 20 years from the age of 40 to 60, when you turn 60, you'll have $593,000. Now you can see that just for the difference for 10 years, starting from the age of 30 versus starting from the age of 40, there is a roughly about $1 million difference. So it's extremely important that you start this passive income strategy as early as you possibly can. Number 8, paying too much in tax. Tax is actually the biggest expense one can make in his life. Here in Australia, if you have $100,000 salary a year, you pay roughly about $25,000 in tax. There are actually legal way to reduce your taxable income and save massive amount of money in tax you pay every single year. One of the way of doing that is investing on investment property. If you have an investment property, all the interest that you pay in your mortgage payment is going to reduce your taxable income. All the realtor fees, rates and water, the depreciation that you have on your build, the landlord and building insurances, and land tax that you have that investment property is built on, all these expenses are actually going to reduce your taxable income. So if your taxable income is $100,000 and you have an investment property, there is actually a way, it is possible to make your taxable income to almost zero. That means though you have paid $25,000 initially, but in the end, when you actually launch your tax return, you'll get that $25,000 back as a massive tax refund. Why? Because you got enough investment property or enough investments that is reducing your taxable income to almost zero, and it is possible. Another way of saving massively on tax is if you operate a business. So a lot of business expenses are actually claimable, that is going to reduce your tax. Another way to save money on tax is making extra payment to your retirement fund. In Australia, employers actually pay 11% of the yearly salary for the employee, they pay to the retirement fund. Now, if you make extra payment, let's say $1,000 or some payment from your pocket every year, you will save a massive amount of money in tax. Let me show you. Let's say your age is 30 and your yearly income is $80,000 before tax, and your retirement balance at the moment is $80,000. Just making $1,000 extra per year, at the time of retirement, you're going to get $54,300 extra from your retirement fund, and you're going to save $345 from tax every single year you invest $1,000. These are some ways in Australia you can actually use these methods to reduce your taxable income or save on tax. Number 9, neglecting career development. Failing to invest in your education and your career development, or you're developing the skill set, is gonna stop you to increase your earning potential to make more money. Now, Warren Buffett said the most important investment you can make is investing to yourself. There is a famous book, it's called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The author, Stephen Covey, said on that particular book, the 7th habit, the last habit of highly effective people is actually sharpening your saw. What that means is you continue to develop your skill set, because the better your skill set goes, more money, more opportunities of making money actually open up to you. Number 10, not empowering retirement fund. Now, I am talking about making extra payment from your pocket on top of what you are getting paid by your employer that will significantly increase the amount of money you're going to get at retirement. Let me show you. You remember this slide? We discussed this just a moment ago. If your age is 30, your yearly income is $80,000, your superannuation or retirement fund balance is $80,000, and you're making only $1,000 extra payment. So if you're doing it from the age of 30, by the time you retire, you will get $54,300 extra. Obviously, you're going to save $345 on tax every single year. We discussed that. Now, what you're looking at here, you are actually investing $655, because out of $345, you're actually getting back from tax. Now, if you retire at the age of 67, you're actually only investing a total of $24,235. So you are investing $24,235, but you are getting $54,300, which is more than double. Another way to empower superannuation or the retirement fund, in Australia, you can actually use your retirement fund or the superannuation fund balance to buy an investment property. So that will skyrocket the end value of your retirement fund. Obviously, in Australia, you require $200,000 minimum account balance on your superannuation fund or retirement fund for you to use that balance to buy an investment property. But imagine if you have that, or you just made some extra payments so that you can make your existing account balance to $200,000. In Australia, you can actually pay $27,500 every single year extra from your pocket to the superannuation fund. Number 11, cutting corners where you shouldn't. A lot of people try to save money, but sometimes some places you shouldn't. You should take the right way. I can give you one of the examples is back in the days, at some point, I had a car broke down, and I discovered there has a gearbox problem. So I took it to one of the dealership, and dealership told me it's going to cost me $3,000 to fix that gearbox. So I thought, oh my God, that's too much money. Probably the dealer is trying to rip me off. So I just went to a local mechanic, and he just patched things up, and then he said he's going to cost me $1,000. I thought, oh my God, I'm saving $2,000. Within a month, it broke down again. So this time I tow it to the dealership, and they discover that they actually haven't fixed the gearbox because he can't fix that properly. The best way to fix that problem is take it out and put a new gearbox in. So the mechanic just patched wires here and there, and it just didn't work out well. So it cost me $3,000 at that time to fix that, but it cost me $1,000 for the mechanic and $300 for the tow. So it's actually cost me $4,300, including all of them, which I could have just spent $3,000 and get the right solution. So sometimes it's actually good to spend the money you actually need to fix the problem, and cutting corners in this sort of situation is just not the right way. Number 12, living beyond your means. If you want to live a lifestyle that you literally cannot afford at that given time based on your how much money you make, and let's say you want to go for a vacation but you literally don't have the funds to do it, and what do? You either tap into a credit card or take a personal loan. It's extremely important you don't do that, because that's another reason that is keeping you poor. Number 13, subscribing to things you don't use. With streaming services or gym membership, a lot of such subscriptions that we all subscribe to that we actually hardly use. That's a completely waste of money. You need to look at that how much you actually use it. If you just use it like once or twice every quarter, or once or twice maybe in 6 months, that's a complete waste of money. You can always cancel it, and in the future, if you see value that you can actually use it frequently and it's going to give you the value you want, by all means you can subscribe again. But any subscription that you don't use, please cancel. Number 14, not creating a maintainable budget. A lot of times you may make a budget that is extremely tight. You can't maintain it in long term. Halfway through you will give up, and then you will double down in expenses. That will void all the good work that you put through during the last 6 months. Number 15, paying full price without researching. We all need things from time to time. The freezer stops working, or the washing machine just doesn't work anymore, or you need a new TV because your TV is 10 years old. Instead of just go to the first shop you want to go to and then just buy it outright, just think about it. Just nowadays you can get all the information online. Spend 5 minutes. You know what fridge you want to buy. You know which washing machine you want to buy or the TV you want to buy. Just Google it. Spend 5 minutes and find out which retail shop is actually giving that particular product at the best price or the best deals. It's only going to take you 5 minutes anyway. And then you go there and then buy the product from there, and you might just save 20% of the purchase price just spending 5 minutes online. So please don't buy in full price without researching. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking you don't have enough time. You don't know what to start from. You think it's too risky. I completely understand. I was just there where you are now. Just start today, and I promise you will get to that financial freedom just like I have. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Don't forget to explore the description and the clickable links on the screen for more money making videos. Keep watching, and I'll see you in the next video.